So, well, hey, I think we are live, Mr. Sri. Let's just see. Let's just have a look on Facebook. Hey, perfect. Okay, I'll just check a couple of things here and make sure that it looks all right. Perfect. I'll just add the title and then we'll get into this. Oops. I don't want to do that. Why is this not? I don't want to do that. Leave. This is the first. I tested this last night with Mel, and fuck it. We're just going to riff. Okay, cool. So the reason for this live, me and you have been trying to sort this live out for weeks and weeks and weeks. And what inspired this is Sri recently went through the activation method. And what we're going to do, what we're choosing to do now is, well, one of the things is, highlight guys, men like yourself, Sri, that have gone through the program and just been an absolute beacon of just a role model as a man, as a father, as a husband, as an entrepreneur, and really dissect how you've done it. Because, of course, the activation method gives you some tools and gives you a system, but, just like with anything, there's no guarantees. I don't care what marketing people put out there, there just are no guarantees. And, you're a human being as well, so you still get to navigate life. You're still going to come up against edges in your marriage, in your relationship. You're gonna go up against all these things. So I really want to make this super simple and just be honest and share with some of the guys, what your journey's been like. So let's start by giving the guys a bit of a backstory. Why did you join the activation method?
Well, where do I start? My journey as an entrepreneur. Are you hearing me?
Nope.
I can hear myself twice. I think I'm okay now. I have started my journey as an entrepreneur in 2007. And what happened was, before that, I've been an accountant for all my life. And I thought being a great accountant is good enough for me to get started as a business owner. But there's so much more to being in business, and the demands of a business that takes its toll on entrepreneurs. I wasn't prepared for it. And so I was really working my ass off trying to get my business up and running. And in the meantime, I sacrificed my personal life, my family life, and I was feeling miserable inside. And so in 2013, I had an awakening moment, which made me realize that there's more to life than money and business itself. And so I started to do things differently. I started to work from home, spend more time with the family, and business was stable, but it wasn't growing beyond a certain level. And so I started figuring things out, taking up part-time CFO positions, again, still trying to go after that elusive money targets. And it wasn't satisfying. So I started then doing these workshops, traveling different parts of the world, going to these workshops, presenting and also participating, trying to figure out what's a better way of living. And then your message on Facebook kind of hit home with me, in the sense that I thought, well, when you approached me and you talked about the activation method, the workshop, and the program, it really resonated with me, because I thought maybe this is the missing link. And that's why I was so eager to join the activation method. And I'm so glad that you were persistent in your message too. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I can remember our first conversation. You, I think your exact words, you were wasting a lot of time on YouTube. You were eating a lot of junk food. You were just, I don't know whether coasting would be the word, but just paint the picture a little bit of where you were, how you were feeling, what your typical day looked like. Because you like to play it down, Sri. Apart from in the private group, where you're very open and vocal, you like to play it down, and the reality is it's just an absolute night and day performance. And that isn't down to us or the activation method. Sure, that plays a role, but it's massively down to you and how you are showing up and your level of commitment and the change in you. So let's paint the picture for these guys. Take them into, really the nuts and bolts of what was going on before.
Okay, if you wanted to paint the picture is made up of colors, and where I was before, I wouldn't want to call it black or dark or gray, but it was pretty close there. I mean, from an inner satisfaction and fulfillment point of view, I was relying on external motivators and things that would make me happy by relying on, outside elements, not from the inside. So like watching movies or, spending time doing stuff that I'm particularly not happy. I love to paint. I love to write stories, but I've given up on all that because I didn't have the passion in me to do those. So I would be tempted. I have these immense sugar cravings, and I would resort to eating junk food, not work out, just stay at my desk and just, gather body fat. And after a certain point in age, the metabolism slows down. And I realized that, much to my dismay, that, just because I'm thin at a certain age in my life, I'm not going to be thin every time. And the energy levels were dropping, the sugar cravings were kicking in. Business wasn't as rosy as I would have liked it to be, because I think what was going on inside was reflecting on the outside. And there's something to be said about being happy and contented from inside, because that is what truly drives a person. And it wasn't there. The passion was just dying. It was like just breathing and getting up in the morning and going back to bed doesn't count as life. There's much more to life than just existing.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So what do you feel like the biggest shift for you has been?
I feel lighter, that there's clarity and purpose. There's more passion in life. Most importantly, what I find is taking that complete radical responsibility for my life, that, good or bad or whatever, it's me, and I can change it if I don't like it. And I don't have to depend on somebody else to show me, to give me happiness. Happiness is coming from inside. And it doesn't mean that I'm shutting myself off from pain. The process of discovering myself, I give myself the freedom to chart through these dark, murky waters and experience the pain freely without any resistance, so that I know there's light at the other end. I can go and reach it. Only if I go through this, there's no other way. And I have been shying away from doing that all my life. And so now I have this renewed passion to just go for whatever I want, irrespective of what comes in my way.
Yeah, it's amazing. Remember when we first chatted on Facebook, and you said, I sent you the link to the training, and you were like, I followed up, have you watched the training? Oh, well, yeah, I got halfway through, but it's just not my thing, and I don't think any of that's for me. And so, okay, cool. So what do you really want? Oh, yeah, I just want to be the CEO of a 3 comma club, and it's just marketing, and everything else is, okay, cool. It's just so amazing now to think back to how you were just suppressing everything, and you made a really amazing point. It's not about not feeling the heaviness or not accepting that the darkness is there, but it's about being willing, able, and committed to go into those places and shine a light on them, so the darkness turns into light. I think that's what you do so well. You do it so amazingly. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but what it seems to me like you've been able to really do is, in the process of shining light on the dark, you open yourself up to so much lightness. You're going to have the conversations with your wife and clean on certain things. You've gone and accepted where you were falling short with your health and why you were doing that. And you've really committed to really going to the depths of what you've been holding on to and suppressing, and it's it's amazing to witness and honor to be part of.
Well, that was a journey I didn't expect, and to be honest, if I look back, we as men have been programmed to be in a certain manner, present ourselves, and do things in a certain manner, which are not necessarily good for us as men. And when you look at all these things that you see on news, I think a lot has to be done about how the schooling and the education system is around the world, which makes us who we are. The influences that we have in our lives, just because they didn't have exposure to the powerful man movement or the activation method that you are providing right now, there's a lot of change that needs to be done. And what I thought was being in the light was actually being in the dark. And so there's a distinct difference in even knowing what light and darkness is. And we pretend to be in the light, we pretend to be happy because we have all these things that we measure up to. Or we have this house, we have these luxury vehicles, or we go on these expensive trips, or we have so much bank balance, or we have this job that makes us 6 figures or 7 figures. And those are not true measures of happiness. They do give us a good quality of life to a certain extent, but the true happiness of being able to speak my truth or stand in my light, which may seem vague to a person who is kind of meandering in the maze of the mundane life right now we have, if only we choose to step back and smell the roses and figure out things, that's when it really hits home that this is not what life is about. There's so much more to it than just running after these, tangibles, as you would like to call it.
What do you think was stopping you from doing that before? Was there anything stopping you? Why didn't you do that before?
It wasn't as much as, first of all, the awareness has to kick in that something has to change, right? And that I can cause the change myself. That awareness itself is lacking because I'm always looking for some external change to happen. If I get this, then life would be happy. If I get 5 more clients, I'll make X amount of dollars more, and that will make me happy because that will get me more closer to my financial goal. Instead of saying, I can choose to be happy right now, this moment. And maybe by being happy and giving off that energy of being happy, maybe I'll attract the right kind of clients to me, rather than being miserable and attracting miserable clients who don't want to pay me. It's a vicious circle, but the awareness of just being able to get started right now, that was lacking.
Amazing. Said some really, really key things there. So it sounded like before there were a lot of rules around what must happen in order for you to feel a certain way. At the same time, there's a lot of rules. A lot of the things that had to happen were based on things outside of you. We talk about circle of influence quite a lot, don't we? We've been able to focus on your circle of influence. And some of those things you got to focus on as sources of birth, but outside of that circle of influence.
The audio is cutting off a little bit. I couldn't follow your question at the end.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we're just talking about the rules that were in place before around your happiness, and then being really dependent on those external things coming in and being sources of significance, validation, and all the rest of it. And really being able to focus on your circle of influence. So what's really changed? You talk about the awareness that's coming. As a bit of the key things, or is it the awareness? Because we'll get on to how in fact, let's go there now. About how you're actually living now. Who you're being, how you're living, what result lies in having in your life.
It's again, the awareness, once it kicks in, I start to question everything that's around my life that's influencing the way I speak, the way I think, the way I believe. And I think it's going to be an ongoing process. It has just started, and I don't think there is a definitive end to it. I'm making conscious choices about who I spend most time with. And being part of the inner circle in UK the month before, it has helped open up my eyes to how much of a direct, deep influence my immediate inner circle can be to me. And so I have, there's so much distraction. I mean, call it circle of influence, or, there's weapons of mass distractions. The cell phone is a huge mass distraction. The different WhatsApp groups, I have ruthlessly cut myself out of all those groups. And I've told them, it's nothing about you, it's me. I'm trying to figure things out, and I need clarity, I need more time to focus on things that matter to me. And this right now doesn't fall in that criteria. So if you need me, I'm always available, but these groups, they're not doing anything. Or while I'm driving, listening to the radio for news versus listening to powerful music, reading books that matter, reading, garbage, or TV. There's nothing I watch on TV. Everything, circle of influence doesn't have to be people. It's everywhere around me on a day-to-day basis, on an hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute basis, who I hang out with. I hang out with coaches. I hang out with people who are trying to make a difference, make an impact on this world, not just merely to, have money targets and who's racing to the top. That's not the kind of people I want to associate with. At the same time, I don't want to associate with people who just want to live life normally, as if, just a normal, boring day is good for them. Not for me. I like to do something different. I like to grow on a daily basis. And who do I reach out to? I like to reach out to people who are going to help me get there on my path to discover myself. And it's very important to associate with people who resonate with you, who share your values, and who are on the same path as you.
So it's okay. For a lot of the men that come through the activation method that we work with, you will have seen the theme yourself. The theme is they tend to be wolves, don't they? They tend to pretend that they've got it all together when usually behind the scenes it's falling apart, or at least it feels like it's falling apart. They tend to then really hold back from asking for help because obviously they want to they've got it all together and signs of weakness, things like that. And then they start to lie to those people around them, the loved ones. They start to lie about how they're doing because they don't want to either one look like a failure, or two start to bear others with the burden of what's going on in their life. And all of this that happened just starts to weave this web of lies, essentially, but also this web of isolation. And with the lies come judgment and the beating themselves up and more isolation and people away from family, from friends, less fun, more isolation, more work, less fun. And I think you're so right in the whole element of who you we know, we hear it a lot, don't we, about 5 people and the environment and all the rest of it. But as men, I think there's something really primal about being willing to belong to a tribe of men that are oriented, that are achievers, also doing it, leading from their hearts, leading with love for themselves, love for others, for the world, not buying into the whole thing of success coming at all costs and success being be all. There's lots of different types of success, but financial success being the be all and end all. You hit the nail on the head. I think it's such a key point. And what's your experience been like with the type of guys that you've been able to introduce into your circle from the powerful man?
That was a huge step up for me. I was not quite sure if I was going to even come there, just because it was a busy tax time for me here and my busiest time of business for the year. And again, I was in two minds to think, what will I achieve out of this? Is it worth my time? But then I said, at some point in time, I told myself I had to just stop second guessing myself and just be open and receptive to see where this journey takes me. And so I boarded the plane, and I was constantly posting messages on Facebook uh, about getting on the plane, more to reassure myself that yes, I'm going there. And the inner circle, first, the biggest benefit from being part of the inner circle is, again, the circle of influence. I am surrounded by 5 men, 5 plus 2, of course, 7, who are on the same journey as me. And the backgrounds may be different, the circumstances may be different, but the pain is the same, the experiences are the same, the emotions are the same. And so to connect to somebody at such deeper level, at such direct, intimate level, and figure things out that, hey, I'm not alone in this. This is not, I don't have to play the lone wolf anymore. There's this tribe of men. And the beauty of being inner circle is it's not just the men who go there that are impacted. As Mel rightly pointed out, it's their family, their friends, everybody is impacted. And so it causes ripple effects. And when I come back, I'm bringing that impact back with me to where I live, and it's felt by people who I interact with on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's just so key, and you're so humble, Sri. You really are. Because as you're speaking, I'm just thinking about what you've achieved. You've gone from time on YouTube, eating junk food, not working out. You never used to go to the gym. Your wife used to want to drag you to the gym, wanting to work out, and you've gone from that to then entering a triathlon, and you couldn't even swim.
I've lost 4 to 5 pounds in the last 10 days.
It's just, you only went into that activation method when we started working together in November, and there's a break over Christmas, don't forget, and you were away for 3 weeks. So really, it's been about 4, 8, 12, maximum 16 weeks, maximum. Been no time at all compared to 49 years you've been on this planet. And you've changed so much and shifted so much.
And that again comes from tapping into your inner power. Previously, I would set goals like I would go work out 3 times a week or 4 times a week, and then I would find X number of reasons to just weasel out of my training schedule. And then I realized that I'm setting these goals too low for myself, so that even if I fail, I don't feel bad. And when you mentioned about there's this movement called the Mentor, and they're trying to raise these funds, and so to support it, we'll do a triathlon. My first response was I'm in, because I didn't want to second guess myself again out of this opportunity. And to me, this meant that I had a fresh new beginning for a whole new lifestyle that I can adapt to. And I didn't want to give up on that. And what happened was, as soon as I said triathlon, yes, then everything else became such small, minute details about going to the gym. It had to happen. There was no way but for me to. My fear of swimming had to disappear. Otherwise, I couldn't be part of a triathlon. So what all fears I had that were holding me back, or what all self-limiting beliefs I had that were holding me back from working out and having a healthy lifestyle, they just they vanished into thin air. And I had to push myself way out of my comfort zone, and then talk to people. And as soon as I started talking to people, somebody said, hey, why don't you go talk to this triathlon coach? She's very good and I know her. And now I have a triathlon coach who's giving me training programs, and all I got to do is stick to that program, and things are falling into place. And again, this is because I'm ready to speak my truth. I'm ready to take responsibility for my health, and people show up in my life to help me get there. And it's so effortless. When I work out, I don't feel like, it's 40 minutes. There's still 20 more minutes on the clock that I got to run these track. No, I just do it. And I'm drinking water 3.5, 4 liters a day. I wake up, have my first 1 liter as soon as I wake up. And that's completely taken my mind off junk food for whatever reason. I don't feel those sugar cravings anymore. Things are beginning to fall in place, and it's such a flow. There is no need for me to panic about it, to stress about it. There's no tension, no anxiety. Things are falling into place because I gave myself permission to be there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing. Biggest shift for you is stop second guessing yourself. And what that has then done is you've given yourself that permission to trust what feels right. And just say what feels right and figure out the details later. Whereas before, the details would have been the thing that would have paralyzed you. But now, because you're saying yes based on what feels right, all the details just start to dissolve because they just become a tiny parts of the process that are just inconsequential. You know, just every area of your life. Like I said, the triathlon is just one example, and then your marriage, how that's just transforming because of how you are willing to have those conversations that you were hiding from having for so many years. The relationship with family members, you know, it's just. I know I'm being vague here because I don't know how personal I say things, but I've been vague, and people might be thinking, well, relationships with family members, but yeah, it's just absolutely
the ability to have conversations. It's something that, again, I wasn't brought up. I wasn't taught to have conversations as growing up. I was a very protected, shy kid growing up for several reasons. I was always inward bound. I was always closed off to conversations. I kept things to myself, and it didn't help anybody. And so, in any relationship, being in family, with friends, at work, whatever, with clients, having that ability to have honest, open conversations, it just, otherwise I used to bottle up these emotions inside and these feelings, and that would result in some outbursts at some most unexpected and inappropriate moments. Whereas now, if I'm able to have conversations and say openly, this is how I feel, or this is what I think should be, it just makes life that much more easier. It's all about making life easier and making life flow, instead of having all these rules and these filters and these boundaries and these, obstacles. I don't want my life to be an obstacle course. I want it to be a smooth sailing.
Amazing. Any advice that you've got for any guys out there that, well, in fact, let's change the angle on that. Thinking about where you was, if you could give your former self, quote unquote, any advice, what would that be?
Can you repeat it again? The audio is cutting in and out. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. I think my signal's been a bit poor for this. I don't know why. It's usually all right. But anyway, what I said was, if you could give your former self some advice, what would it be?
What advice I would give to my former self? There's two ways I can answer this. One is, this is the moment, this is the place, you are the person, go get started, nothing is stopping you. That's one. And second thing is, you are absolutely enough. You are capable enough to figure things out. Don't hold back. The world needs the powerful man inside you. Just go follow your dreams.
And any advice you might want to give anybody that's thinking about getting involved with the powerful man movement and activation?
It will be the same exact advice. If you are watching this and if you have any sense of unfulfillment, or if you're feeling the stress and the anxiety of this daily life, or if you have these huge goals or this pressures, you're feeling the social pressures, tell yourself, this is the time for you to make the change. Nobody's going to come and give it on a platter. It's your life. You take responsibility for it. Go with the flow. Make the commitment to change your life, and then go on with it. Tim has an amazing platform for you to express yourself fully and get rid of all your fears and inhibitions. And he's changing lives one tribe at a time. And I want you to be in the next tribe. And I can't recommend enough, because it's changing lives, not just the people who are enrolling in it, but their communities, their circles of influence. We want the world to be a better place. And for 2018, I called it the year of the finisher, because I've been through so many programs, I've never finished anything. And for me, not just the triathlon, but finishing the triathlon would actually start my new lifestyle. So if you have any hesitations about joining the activation method, I am not sure when you're watching this video how much you know about the activation method. If you don't know, private message Tim. He'll be more than happy to share the details with you. But all I can say is you owe it to yourself to be part of the activation method, because the world needs you.
Yeah, man. We want more men. We want more empowered, enlightened, awake, conscious men. You know, as men, as fathers, as business leaders, as husbands, as everything. The world needs more conscious men.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. You're a big guy. I really appreciate your energy, your time. I'm not too sure what the quality is like on my end, but you've come across clear. And thank you so much.
Oh, any time for you, Tim. It's my pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you, man. And see you tomorrow.
See ya.
Much love there. Oh, fucking hell. Right. Fucking hell, brother.